Unfortunately, we know how the third possession ends. It's this play right here. This is a throw that Lamar Jackson he puts it right into Zay Flowers' hands or his gut, whatever Zay is trying to catch it with. So the ball is on the right hash. It's a 2nd and 8. I think it's after a 2-yard run from Keaton Mitchell. So you've got this kind of later developing in-breaking route by Tylan Wallace. And then Zay Flowers is going to get absolutely, redirected by the boundary side inside linebacker. I think it's a 4-3 structure here by the Bengals. So he's going to collision Zay right there, knock him off his route, if you will, expand him a little bit. There's really only 2 routes that are happening down the field. Number one, it's this route where Zay kind of turns it into a whip or China in, and then Tylan Wallace a little bit later cutting over the second level of the defense as well. We've got some time for Lamar, even though Voorhees, the left guard, is beat quite badly. I will give you the end zone angle of that one. It seems to me the dynamic that's been happening here lately is if Linderbaum steps to the right to help out Falele, then we get beat here. And if Linderbaum steps to the left to help out Voorhees, then we get beat here. It's not 100%. It's not every time. But watching the pass pro over the course of the entirety of the season, that's kind of an oversimplification that you can see manifest on film each and every week. Same play from the end zone angle again. It's a 2nd and 8 with the ball on the right hash. Voorhees matched up with the defensive tackle, so 2 routes that are down the field. Andrews is kind of just shooting out into the boundary side flats. And Andrews' route is going to hold 42, or force, I should say, 42 to expand. That's the guy who collisions Zay Flowers. Pretty clean ability for us to step through. One thing to note, I should say, is that, again, we've got a running back moving through. I wonder if we need to provide more help to the guards, but I'm not sure exactly how we could do that. In any case, this is the guy who ends up getting the interception. Really no good reason for that. Lamar, in my opinion, initially checked the other guy with his helmet. Initially, I think he checked here to see what, I believe that's Geno Stone is doing, and then he comes back and is now looking at battle number 27, who I have spot shadowed in blue. Again, Linderbaum is stepping to Falele, kind of trying to help him out. Lamar puts this ball right on the money for Zay Flowers. That thing should obviously be caught, 100 times out of 100. Even though Voorhees is beat, at least he does hold, doesn't get called for it, however, and gives Lamar an opportunity to get this ball off right into Zay's hands. 3 possessions, 28 yards on 10 plays, and 0 points. Really unfortunate at the time because, we had an opportunity to take a 7-0 lead, number one. Number two, that looked like the kind of drive where if we get Keaton Mitchell just a little bit of space, he's going to be gone. We really kind of get things going from a Lamar standpoint late into the second quarter. On a cold, windy day, there definitely seemed to be confidence in Monken, or from Todd Monken, I should say, in Lamar to be able to execute some of these downfield throwing concepts. So almost spread-ish type of attack. We're in 11 personnel, and I would call this dash. This seems to be a second quarter play for us. I don't really remember us running this early in games, nor do I remember us running it in the second half. So dash usually is indicated by the tight end, in this case Kolar, attacking the edge defender. Once again, that's Myles Murphy. And then you've got Tylan Wallace, kind of this bender out route, if you will, corner route, and then a deeper out by Zay Flowers. Lamar's going to loft that ball, obviously, over the top of the second-level defender. This is a Tampa 2. So I think you've got 2 high safety structure, and I think you've got a flat corner here. This, to me, looks like a Mike linebacker running, in between the field. That's the guy who really makes a Tampa 2 be a Tampa 3, a 3-deep coverage that's just hidden inside of the name or the vernacular Tampa 2. So Lamar is threatening to the edge, and you've got a late route by the running back into the flats, and it really puts this guy, DJ Turner, in conflict, right? You've got Zay on this kind of deeper out concept to allow him to catch the football and get out of bounds, and then Rasheen Ali running into the flat, so you're high-lowing this defender. Most people these days call it dash. The old run and shoot used to have different names for it, semi-roll, sprint out type stuff. In any case, it's a second quarter play in most of the iterations where I feel like we've seen it in 2025. Didn't see this a ton from us in 2024. Lamar's obviously got oncoming defenders, 2 of them, in fact. floats it over the top of the defenders. Maybe there's too much air put on this. I don't know. It ends up working out. From the end zone angle, it's kind of tough to say, like, when should we throw this football? Where should we throw it? Is Lamar actually trying to throw it down here to the sideline? I really don't think so, to be honest with you. And if you guys have listened to my content at all, not just this video, you know I'm not one to just go out of my way to apologize and defend Lamar Jackson. I'll give you the end zone angle. I feel like Lamar's trying to throw it back over that wrong shoulder almost intentionally. In any case, the dash concept, like I said, we are blocking or pinning down on that defensive end. In this case, it's Kolar who motioned off screen, and then he's going to walk back down on the defensive end. In addition, something to note about like dash or even those old school run and shoot concepts. Normally, if you have, like in this case, the offensive line's working to their left. They're working away from where Lamar Jackson is going. But oftentimes on these types of concepts, if you were going to step the tackle to the defensive end, talking about Myles Murphy, sometimes you would like intentionally overset it. So you would intentionally flatten this out or overset it, I should say, such that you elicit or bait an inside move because you know where Lamar Jackson, the quarterback, is going. That's not the way that we're running it. That's not the way that most teams run it, to be honest with you. Normally you see this pin down by the tight end and then out in the flats by the running back. Like I said, in this case, it's Rasheen Ali. So Lamar's trying to throw it over the top of this defender. This is the high-low. Ali and then Flowers. You know, maybe Lamar should throw it more towards the sideline over the top of that corner. I'm not sure how they read it or what they teach it, obviously. But to me, it looks like the corner's reaction because of his width. You've got, I'm talking about the corner that's off screen right now for us. The off screen for us right now is DJ Turner, somewhere over here. I feel like Lamar is intentionally throwing this football to keep it away from him. Now you guys see him at this point. You know, again, you can think if you want that I'm just trying to defend Lamar Jackson overly. I'm just not sure that he's going to be able to get enough pace on that ball to throw it in a way that DJ Turner can't defend it if he intentionally puts it over here near the sideline. It worked out. Unfortunately, Zay Flowers took a huge hit, right? I think it's a great throw and a great play. It's a concept that we use a ton, typically when the ball is on the left hash. Finally, the touchdown to Zay Flowers that'll, pretty much culminate what I'm going to talk about here. It's 30 yards. As is played about as poorly by the boundary safety, which I think is Geno Stone, as you could imagine. I just don't know what he's looking at all. Andrews is first to the flats immediately here. And Zay is kind of running an out and up. You're really getting, I think, another version of a Tampa 2 where Geno Stone is getting depth. And at some point, he'll actually avert his eyes to this route by DeAndre Hopkins. I don't necessarily think it's because Lamar looked there. Having said that, Lamar is looking there for a moment while taking his drop. We're talking about Lamar's helmet here. I'll rewind it. And the go slow-mo for a moment. He's definitely looking that side to Hopkins. I just don't understand what Geno Stone is doing, being as it's a Tampa 2. So you've got half-field defenders here, a Mike linebacker running. They call it running the pipe between the hashes. And that's really not Geno Stone's responsibility. And it's so basically just really slow reacting to this route by Zay. Again, it's a Tampa 2, so he's existing over top of the corner coverage and then outside of the safety. And again, in this case, it's Geno Stone. Lamar throws a really good ball, if you ask me, such that Stone is unable to make a play on it completely. I also feel like the hesitation that Stone had in turning and going at this point when you got such an obvious vertical up the left sideline is pretty notable for me. From the end zone angle, again, this is a 30-yard touchdown to Flowers that puts us up 14-0 late in the second quarter. So we chip the defensive end with Likely. I think we got a loss here. Inside linebacker 49. I can't exactly remember who that is, but he's getting around Filele into the B gap. So we have A gap help here in the form of Rasheen Ali. The nose tackle is stunted away from Linderbaum, and we're still not able to win that battle. Just agility is obviously at a deficit there. So at the point in time that I've paused it here, you've got Hopkins working across right to left, kind of that little shallow dig route. And the inside linebacker, turning his back and running with any potential vertical. There is really no vertical there. Zay Flowers is off screen to our left, tucked up against the left sideline. you guys can't see it because of the frame that I've got, but Geno Stone is actually looking there right now. He's looking across the field to the other side. You've got a vertical to your side and a Tampa 2 that exists outside of you. That's your job to defend it. It would be potentially, this inside linebacker's job to take over that route from Hopkins, but generally the Mike linebacker in a Tampa 2 is looking to defend any vertical that exists in between the hashes. You can see the inside linebacker 44 check up. I think Stone really couldn't have played this any worse. Excellent ball, by Lamar, in my opinion. One of the situations when we're able to give him time, when we're able to give him a pocket and attack down the field, you can see what we can get done. I think that's why so many of us, myself included, have been incredibly frustrated with 2005. It's like, why can't anyone else identify that if we put an elite offensive line unit in front of Lamar Jackson, he's going to be virtually unstoppable? We'll actually do one more play here. This is from into the third quarter. It's a 3rd and 8. Unfortunately, it's an incomplete pass to Zay Flowers. I'll be honest with you, when I first saw this ball thrown, I thought it was going to be high, and it was not. Lamar had the right pace and the right trajectory on it. Initially, Lamar's going to be looking down here to Mark Andrews as the backside X receiver. And it's unfortunate because, first of all, Flowers is open. Lamar puts the ball in his hands. Maybe it's on the edge of his fingers or the edge of his hands, but it's a good throw nonetheless, if you ask me. But in addition to that, really cool design, man. You've got kind of like this China in or whip route by Hopkins, and it frees up Tez Walker. If Lamar had been reading up here initially, my guess is he probably throws this ball to Tez Walker over the middle, and we're talking about an easy touchdown to put us up 20-0. As it stands, Lamar is fading a little bit to his right. I think he puts this ball in a great spot. Maybe you could say this ball is 3 to 4 inches higher than you would want it in a perfect scenario. I think it's a great ball from Lamar. Gives Zay Flowers an opportunity to go make the catch. I like the design, man. Hopkins, going to curl to the outside and then delayed bring his route back in. And watch how that opens up or helps open up Walker with what essentially acts as a pick. Lamar moved off of Mark Andrews quickly as the read to the bottom side because he noticed the tight coverage. And then works up to Flowers. Really unfortunate, like I said, it gives us a 21-0 lead if we're able to execute this. For all intents and purposes, the game will be over at that point.